Cooking on the beat, my nigga. Yeah.
Oh, the song's over. The song's over. I didn't even realize the song was over. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm ready. What's up? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome. It's May 8th, 2016. You're here for another episode of First Period with your boy F. Dot. I'm pretty excited. It's Mother's Day, so after today's show, go call your mother. And if you're a mother out there, 10 points to you. Thank you very much for doing what you do. As far as my own mother, everybody says, if it wasn't for my mother, well, I wouldn't be here. That's technically, as far as the idea being, your mother brought you into this life, right? That's technically not true for me. I'm adopted. So, it's not true in the sense, I would still exist on planet Earth had, things been a little bit different. But I certainly wouldn't exist in this capacity. So shouts to my mom, who is my number one fan, my number one supporter, my only friend at some points. So, shouts to my mom. She's the absolute best. And at the end of the day, everyone's mom, not everyone's mom, but most people's moms, usually wind up in that category. So, shouts to my mom and everything she's ever done and will continue to do. That's pretty dope. As far as everybody else out there, y'all shitty. No, I'm just kidding. But we've got some exciting stuff on the side of SPL stuff. Enemy is playing today. They've got a doubleheader versus Envy and then Soar they'll take on. So this is going to be one of the more exciting Sundays in recent memory for SPL, which is pretty sweet. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I can't say y'all. I've been saying y'all since I lived in New York. You don't understand. Nobody seems to understand. Y'all is not a Southern thing. Y'all is a Southern and a New York thing. We've been saying y'all since forever. So don't tell me what I can and cannot say, Miss Kurge. Thank you. Hungry for More went absolutely insane in the good way. Hungry for More went crazy yesterday. They won a bunch of games. They had a doubleheader as well, which I'm pretty sure everybody predicted at least two. At least two losses. Right? Paradigm. Obviously, they're going to beat HFF, right? At least. Not quite the same. Let's take a look at the match details of Hungry for More did very good. I gotta just start writing this shit down, I guess, live, because there's nothing to fucking depend on. Shouts to the stat sites out there. If you guys, so people always ask me, how do I get involved in esports? I'm not a player. How do I get involved in esports? I just want to do journalism like you or whatever. How do I get involved? And my answer is always find something either A, you're good at, like talking a whole bunch, or B, find something where there's a niche. Find something I don't think I should turn the mic up. Find something where there's a hole. Find something where there's a niche, where something just hasn't been done yet. And that's why First Period worked out, because there wasn't any real talk content on the SPL. I would give you the advice to go make a stat site. Esports, Smite.esports, Esportspedia, whatever the hell, they don't keep up to date. There's no real site. Waking up on a Sunday morning, if I want to look at the games that happen Saturday and Friday, there just isn't any information out there. So if you are interested, go ahead and make a damn stat site. Make a damn do something in that regard, because your boy needs some sort of nonsense. Meet the right people. Everybody says meet the right people. That's wrong. Meet the right people is not step one. That's step two. You got to meet the right people after you already have something to offer. Flat out. If I met the right people before I was doing anything, well, it just wouldn't matter. I've heard I've heard Bart and people speak to many a person saying, "Hey, I want to be a caster. I want to do this," and they're like, "Oh, okay. Like, send me examples of VODs or YouTube stuff you've done." And they're like, "I didn't do that. I thought you were my friend." And it's like, bro, you got to do something. So do something. Nah, there's not the stats that I'm looking for. And like, you know, what's it called? Reddit's not what I want. I want a website that I can go and depend on for there to be match details the next day. These were two of the most exciting sets that we've seen in a long time, and I can't bring up no stats about them, and that's upsetting. There are 70 or 85 people in this chat. Later on, there will be a couple of hundred people in this chat. Get together. Y'all are like-minded. Y'all understand the SPL. Y'all want to like the SPL. Y'all want to get more involved? Well, make a stat site so your boy can actually talk about it in depth. I gotta start taking notes off the desk now, which is ridiculous. But in any event, Hungry for More went absolutely ham. And I don't need stats, and I don't need papers, and I don't need notes to remind me of how crazy they went. Shoutouts to Gandhi, man. I've been scheduled on the first game for the past couple of weeks, so y'all gonna get suit dot. And also, there's no marathon Q&A today. We start the broadcast at 1. I live like 20 minutes away. I like to get there an hour before the broadcast, and like I'm gonna stick here to 12 as if you know, because this is what I do. But so I'm gonna get there a little bit late today, but you know, oh well. I just can't go past 12. Like I have my shoes and sneakers on right now. My shoes and sneakers, my socks and sneakers. But Volpe, I will smack you. So. The SPL starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means, or Daylight Savings Time. I don't really know what time it is or anything like that, but or what, you know, EDT, EST or whatnot. But right now it's 10:15, so that's 11:15, 12:15. So like 2 hours and 45 minutes we'll see the SPL. Hungry for More went crazy. Let's get into the business of last night. Or yesterday, rather, I should be a little bit more specific. Hungry for More went absolutely crazy. And this is exactly what I expected and wanted to see from teams coming out of the bye week. And I'm expecting to see the same from Envy today. I'm very excited. I think that's very cool. Nikoni, there's no public numbers, but all your anecdotes are completely incorrect. Smite's numbers have been going up as far as the general player base. Hungry for More. This is the team that I came into the season saying hungry for losses. I came into the season saying this squad won't do anything. This squad will be trash. And guess what? They were trash for a long period of the time. The first half of the season was rough. And for 3/4, I think more probably appropriately 4/5 of the first half of the season was just objectively bad. They seem to have a bad roster coming into it. I mean, Variety was not the greatest player on his team of Team Dignitas. Captain Twig was not the best player on his team of Fnatic. Ataraxia is in a conversation over there. But then they had a brand new Zindern, was very fresh as far as professional solo support plays there. So I mean, like, it's what's it called? So it's Nikoni. What are you talking about? I just said the numbers are up. You're high, dude. I should try the Trinity knot. No, devocalized. I'm good. I don't need to look like I'm in the Matrix. I'm totally fine being traditional and not an idiot. Trinity knot, Eldridge knot. Delete them from your thoughts. Hungry for More. So they set their table very, very ridiculously from the outside looking in. And I think that Ataraxia had the foresight that a lot of people, myself included, didn't even see. It's very interesting to think about the level of knowledge that not of the game, but of the people surrounding him. I've spoken to Ataraxia because Variety's kind of an asshole, and I've spoken to Ataraxia about Variety specifically and how I had analyzed him last year, saying he wasn't a great player, and there were other variables, to be completely honest with you. A lot of what Dignitas did with respects to the solo lane were Variety plus Frostiak, and Frostiak kind of dropped the ball occasionally in the stat and a third, but and that led to a lot of what looked like Variety being in trouble. And now Variety, I still maintain that Variety was just objectively a poor player last season, and there were other variables that put him in a position of not being the greatest, but at the end of the day, he just there was a lot of just dropped success. And being able to come into the season and transition into being successful, it's interesting because there are things that you can point to directly and say that they have improved for Variety. And then you can do the same thing for Captain Twig. You can point to Captain Twig directly, and you can say that these things have improved. And you can say that, not necessarily, I think Pretty Prime has always sort of done Pretty Prime things, but on Titan there were other issues, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you come into this season with a squad of players that just aren't good, it's interesting because, I mean, Ataraxia had the idea that this team was going to be successful right off the bat, and I knew it wouldn't be successful off the bat, and I didn't have much faith in them going forward, and that was completely incorrect of me. Ataraxia is a fantastic leader. He's a fantastic player when it comes to just being the guy that you want to follow, being the guy that you want to be associated with. You know, it's actually really funny. I tweeted out yesterday after Ataraxia's interview, and I'll play that interview for you guys. After yesterday's interview with Ataraxia, I tweeted out, I was like, oh, you know, this guy's one of the more political dudes in the league. Like, go ahead and give him a watch and watch him really talk, and how it's just exciting to see what Ataraxia is able to do, because he's just so damn political, and it's funny, and I like it, and that creates an environment where people want to be in. So Ataraxia actually, in Hungry for More's games, Zindern has been benched. He's now the coach of the team. He's no longer a starter, and they replaced him with a guy named Manalike, which is Frezzy from last year's Team Dignitas, a guy that, again, had issues of his own. But they were very successful in this match, and listen to how Ataraxia positions it, in the sense that, listen to how Ataraxia describes the roster change.
I tell you who I'm going to call. I'm going to call Ataraxia right now and find out what he has to say after Hungry for More goes 3-1 this week. Ataraxia, buddy, you there?
I am here. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. You must be even better.
Yeah, it's been a pretty good day for us, I think.
So, overall, talk to me first of all about the replacement of Zindern with Manalike. Why has that happened, and how has it been with the team? Because it seems like things are going well. Was this replacement the reason for the success?
I would say that yes, the replacement is a big reason for the success, and I'm going to clarify this by saying that it's not necessarily Zindern's fault. I think that Zindern...
What? Are you... What? Come on. What? I don't... Okay. Well, we're having a breakdown. I'm going to find this... Today's one of those days, folks. Oh man, it's been a rough week for me, guys. We're working through it. We're finding some victories here and there, but I really wanted to highlight what Ataraxia said, and he was just about to get into the meat and potatoes, which was really exciting. So basically what Raxia said here was, he said, look, you know, it's no secret. You can obviously tell. You can obviously tell that Zindern wasn't really up to the level that we really needed. And it wasn't, and the way, man, because the important part of this interview was the way that Ataraxia phrased everything. Basically, Ataraxia said straight up, listen, Zindern, not good. Frezzy, good. We made a switch. We're going to win. We're dope. Hurrah. But the way he phrased it was, you know, Zindern, he didn't really pan out. We thought he would, and he definitely didn't. And what I like about what Ataraxia said was he didn't shy away from the fact that Zindern was the reason that the team lost a little bit. Or at least part of the reason that the team lost a little bit. He said flat out, Zindern was an issue. Or Zindern's performance, or he made it sound very, very political. And then, he said, he just didn't have the experience, the experience necessary to really go ahead and succeed at the level that we planned on. So we brought Frezzy aboard, who obviously has, and Frezzy's a player that last year, Frezzy played for Team Dignitas, and at the end of the year, Frezzy quit Dignitas, saying that he wasn't sure if he was going to play this season. Frezzy said, he wanted to focus on school, and he just wasn't important or whatnot, and this, that, and the third. I think Ataraxia would be not a good caster. But so that Ataraxia phrased everything correctly in that he said, look, Zindern's not good. He didn't have the necessary experience needed to succeed in the SPL, so he switched it up and got Frezzy, and Frezzy came aboard. And like I was saying, Frezzy last year quit, and he said that he wasn't sure if he wanted to play professional Smite again, right? And if he did, he wanted to be on a winning team, because Dignitas didn't look so hot last year. And now he joined the 8th place team in the SPL, which some people would call hopeless, right? Now, why did that happen? The difference is not just a team. It's not just some random team. It's not about just the capability of winning, because if you look at the win-loss record, obviously you're not very interested in playing. If you're like, hey, look, I quit and I only want to be on a high-end team, and then number 8, 3, and 11 come up to you, and they're like, hey, you got some Amber energy? And you're like, nah, bro, I'm done. I don't want to play. But for some reason, Frezzy said yes. And I wonder why that is. Except I'm not actually wondering why. I think I can point directly to Ataraxia. And I think Nate is a fantastic in this capacity. And I wish him luck in his pro career. And I'm very excited to see him play. And I hope that it flourishes, etc. Like, not even being nice. I think Nate's one of the... I like Nate. I think Nate's a cool guy. I think Ataraxia's a cool guy. But he has a future in other things, whether it's coaching, whether it's owning an organization, whether it's being a part of something larger, like a community manager or something. Nate has a way of speaking that makes you want to join him, and it makes you want to help him, and it makes you want to be a part of the team. And like I said, Frezzy's the dude that was like, I'm done playing Smite professionally, especially on a losing team. And Ataraxia was able to be like, hey, we're 3-11. We're 8th in Europe. There's only one team worse than us, and they don't have a roster, and they're in North America. And Frezzy was like, yeah, I'll join. So I think there's something to be said about Ataraxia's wordsmith ability or talent as a wordsmith, and his ability to go ahead and get these people on board and stuff like that. So I value Ataraxia off the field just as much as I do on, and I think that what he brings to the team is very important. There are a lot of teams out there in Hungry for More's position that would have just said, screw it. There are a lot of teams out there that would just be like, yeah, we're 3-11. We're trash. Oh, well. And Ataraxia just continued to try and find victories. They continued to try and find wins. And now this is probably less Ataraxia and more the team as a whole. And that's really respectable about how the team has just improved, and the bye week was used intelligently, and the bye week was used exactly how it should be. Week 1, right? Let's go ahead and just look at the schedule. Let's go ahead and just look at the schedule for Hungry for More. So week 1, when you look at the European schedule, and we take a look at week 1, right? Hungry for More goes up against the Leftovers, and they get 2-0'd. They get absolutely smoked. Badge's team looks very strong. Hungry for More, on the other hand, there's like no chance. There isn't. They could not even hold a candle. Then Cringe Crew comes through Hungry for More, and the same thing. They flounder. They don't look good. In fact, these Hungry for More versus Cringe Crew, if you go and you look at the match details, please. Yes. You go ahead and you look at the match details. We're talking like 0-5 on Raxia. Captain Twig had a good game, surprisingly, in game number 1, but, 1-4, 9 on Zinder, which isn't terrible, but this 5-6-4 is deceiving. Variety had some good individual plays, but didn't mesh with the team well. And then game number 2 was even worse. 1-6-5 in the Odin jungle with 2,000 damage. Shout to 667. Like, this just didn't do anything worthwhile. And then they don't quit. They're still there. Then you look at week number 3, right? Week number 3, Hungry for More take on Torpedo, and they're able to split. This is where Hungry for More find their first win. They go ahead and please, yes. And so the first game goes very, very well. And this is the first look that we see at the combination of it all. This is the first look that we see at the Pretty Prime Captain Twig situation. Because like I said, as we look, of course, when we looked at, of course, what's happening? Come on, man. I never clicked on Dignitas versus Fnatic. All right. Schedule. I'm sorry, guys. Just bear with me. I'm wrestling with a lot of different things here. So Hungry for More versus that. I think I just have to open them in different tabs and go that way. So Hungry for More versus Leftovers was kind of just really okay. So we'll just look at game 2 since game 1 doesn't have any, just has half the game. Hungry for More, right? You see them, and Ataraxia has always been doing the Ataraxia. He's always just been, hey, look, I'm going to be a hunter, and I'm just going to do what I do, right? Captain Twig came into the season struggling. Variety came into the season struggling, and that wasn't a surprise to anybody. Zindern also struggled, and Pretty Prime, I mean, you can only do so much without a jungler, right? So Ataraxia started the season doing fine, or well enough. The next game they play, Hungry for More and Cringe Crew, you take a look. Ataraxia has a really rough game in number 1 and then is able to pick it up. 3-4-2 is respectable enough, but 0-5-3 definitely not. Ataraxia has some troubles here. But Captain Twig now comes online. Captain Twig discovers himself. He's like, hey, I'm able to get some kills and assist the team a little bit. And Variety goes, hey, I can actually play the game. Check me out. I know I've always been able to do this, but other people haven't known that. So there we go. Game number 2. Similar situation. Captain Twig drops the ball, but Ataraxia is doing it, and then Variety plays Zhang Kui, and I have nothing else to say. Then week number 3, we go ahead and we see Hungry for More versus Torpedo. Much different situation. Like I said, Ataraxia had been playing fine, and then in here, Captain Twig had that Fenrir game. He understood that, yes, I can play well. Pretty Prime and Captain Twig combined. Captain Twig's already playing well, so he's able to take that to the next step. Play well for himself, now play well with the team. Captain Twig's success here, 3-11, is directly related to Pretty Prime's success here, 6-7. The reason Najah has 11 assists is because 6 ultimates coming from Najah are coupled with a Vulcan ultimate to go ahead and secure the deal. Variety as well. Variety runs this game, and he goes ahead, or Variety shows potential in this game, going 3-0-4. A lot of what he does in the late game comes off of late rotations, and he's able to really assist the team and make it work. 4-0-12 on the Guan Yu. He's playing Guan Yu, and he's got a fantastic team. This game just sort of snowballed in the right direction. Only 2 deaths on the side of Hungry for More. So then as we go into week number 4, now, all right, now we have a team. Now we have a squad. Now we have some people that are able to go ahead and combine into a successful situation. This mid-jungle synergy, this Najah, this Najah into Vulcan Ultimate. This is here. This is understanding. This is what's going on. This is how it works out, and this is a big part of what will lead the team to victory in the future. So they've got everything working in the right direction. Week by week, you can watch those VODs and you can see tangible results of this team practicing. And then we go into week number 4, and after all of this work, we've seen the jungle pick it up. We've seen the jungle mid synergy happen. That's why this team is going to win games. And then Variety comes from the side and is able to assist them. And then week number 4, Hungry for More go up against Panthera, and they get absolutely destroyed because it's Panthera. And that's got to suck. I mean, that's just got to be bad. That's just got to be bad. Hunger for More versus Panthera. You're having all this success. You just can't handle it. But the next one you get is against Fnatic. Now, this is tasty because Fnatic is a team that you're probably not supposed to beat. Fnatic is a team that you're probably not supposed to go ahead and be very, very strong against because of their history, because of what they used to be about. But that's not the case anymore. Fnatic is a very different team this time around. Fnatic brings a lot of different stuff to this situation. So with that in mind, Hunger for More come in here with a clean head, and they go ahead and they're like, all right, look at this. 3-2-12, 6-1-8. Again, the same combination. Not even the same idea. The same combination of Captain Twig on Ne Zha, Pretty Prime on Vulcan, just coming together, and they're able to go ahead and just blow up. You can look at this as a single slash line. Just pretend like this is 9, 3, and 20. Because these guys, for the early game and mid game, are together. We joke a lot about how the jungler is support mid or secondary mid, right? But Hunger for More takes that to the next level, and they actually just make sure that this is going to be successful. And this is the win condition of this team. This is the entire way that this team wins at this point in the game, which is a positive in the sense that the team is winning and the team are coming off, and the team is coming into the situation. PomCon, fuck you, dude. And this is a positive look for Hunger for More because this is how they win games. But so far, this is the only time, the only way they win games. Also, I think there's a side note about saying Reels on Neath, and that's just not a good look. But game number 2, hey guys, it wasn't a fluke. They banned out our stuff. If you take a look at picks and bans, Fnatic just flat out bans the Ne Zha. The Ne Zha can no longer combine with the Vulcan. I actually think the Vulcan should still be here, but regardless, Captain Twig and Pretty Prime do it again. They're like, all right, man, look, watch me. This is going to be fantastic. Let's take a look. So we have Captain Twig and Pretty Prime. 1-0-5, 2-0-4. Again, you can just look at these guys as being 3-0-9. You don't have to look at this as 1-1. Captain Twig, big woof, picks up the guy in the mouth, and it just goes right into Pretty Prime's drums of war. That's how this works. But they take it a step further in game number 2 with 3-0-9 is not enough to win the game. If we look at the game before that, right? 9, 3, and 20. All right, that's enough to win the game. 3-0-9, not enough to win a game. It just isn't. But Variety, 5-1 and 3. Now, not only do you have that single win con of the jungle and mid synergy coming together, not only do you have the single win con of Ne Zha and Vulcan, but they take it a step further in game number 2 with Fenrir and Raijin, and they go, okay, the idea is jungle combo. We will set up with our jungler and we will hammer the nail home with the mid lane damage, the mid lane burst damage. Game 2, Fnatic say, okay, we're going to ban the Ne Zha, force Captain Twig to play something different because that's what Captain Twig was playing. So Captain Twig switches up. He goes Fenrir and Pretty Prime goes Raijin. They go, all right, it's not. We're still a one-trick pony in the sense that it's still the combo out of jungle and mid, but we're showing that we can do it with different gods. Coming in with the Variety, now Variety's able to go, all right, Captain Twig, the Fenrir Raijin wasn't as successful as the Ne Zha Vulcan, and I'm going to make sure that that gap is bridged. I'm going to make sure that everything is handled with that situation. So now Hunger for More have shown not only can they win with a Vulcan Ne Zha combo, but they can win with the general idea of a jungle mid lane combo. Plus, they can rely on the rotations out of the short lane to expect Variety to turn up. And then as we go on to week number 5, that is exactly what happened. Hunger for More went ahead and they played against Paradigm, and, well, I mean, that was rough. They expected a lot of stuff to go their way, and it just didn't. Paradigm came out swinging, and Paradigm played some interesting stuff. We saw the Ne Zha Vulcan combo, and the Ne Zha Vulcan combo worked. They went 5, 2, and 6 in the mid lane, and then Captain Twig had a lot more deaths which might have been an issue. But Zindern here with the 5 deaths, that's problematic. And that's just problematic. And Variety didn't have his best game of the day. I actually don't like Variety on Bologna. I don't think Bologna brings enough that Variety can actually push. When you see Tier, Variety can physically push you out of the way. When you see Variety on Guan Yu, he can physically heal his teammates. Bologna is more of a damage dealing frontliner, and I don't really think that works out well for Variety. And even on the Tier game, he didn't do well. This is a very strong Paradigm team in week number 5. But Hungry for More, week number 5, what they do is they identify. They say, okay, we understand that our team is successful with this mid-jungle synergy. And we're able to succeed off of this mid-jungle synergy. And Variety is able to help us out as well. Variety was the reason that this team won in week number 4. Flat out. Absolutely flat out. Variety versus Fnatic was the reason this squad won. The mid-jungle synergy was expected, it was there, and it has been there. But the difference going forward was Variety. 5-1-3 on the Tier. This was the biggest change. And this is the step in the right direction, because a team is a puzzle. A team is all individual parts of a larger whole. It's not just one guy doing it. Even, I mean, you don't have to know anything about basketball to know the name LeBron James, and you probably don't know anybody else on his team. But guess what? It's not literally LeBron James doing it by himself. You know who Michael Jordan is. It wasn't literally Michael Jordan doing it by himself. He had a cast and crew of different types of individuals around him that all came together for the whole. And now, yes, those were standout players. Just like, I mean, you can say Zapman's a standout player on Eager, and you can say that Adapting's a standout player on Epsilon or now Panthera, right? And you can say Pain Devion's a standout player on Enemy, and you can say Cyclone Spin's a standout player on Envy. But all of these players have people surrounding them to put themselves in a situation to win. Ataraxia started the season playing Hunter and just going, I'm going to win. This is what I do. Not a big deal. I'll do it by myself. Except that's not what he said at all. He was the only one performing, and 4 other players weren't doing well. Pretty Prime was going through the motions, but without Captain Twig on the same page, it wasn't working out. Ataraxia was step 1. Step 2 was Captain Twig. He had a game by himself that proved that he could play the game at a high level. Step 3 was Captain Twig combining with Pretty Prime to find out that mid-jungle synergy. Step 4 was Variety coming together, having a 5-1-3 game after immediately following a 2-2-6 or 8 game on Guan Yu. Now you've got 4 members of the team working together. Zindern 0-1-7 and 2-1-15. It doesn't show up on the slash line, but if you go back and you watch the games, it's kind of an issue as to where Zindern's sitting. His ability to go in, his desire to go ahead and initiate doesn't seem to be all there. It doesn't seem to actually show up, and it doesn't seem to, there seems to be something a little bit missing. So, which is why we don't have, the games against Paradigm and Team Dignitas were so exciting for me, because the team has an in between. The team has a bye week. The team has a situation where they understand that they've gotten steps 1 through 4 locked down. Now they need that 5th one. They need a support to fit their mentality. And Zindern had the mentality. He was aggressive, which is what Hungry for More wanted to do, but he seemed to choose I don't want to say the wrong engagements, because the team was able to win off of them, but he had trouble choosing the right situations. And that is just straight up experience, as Ataraxia said in his interview that Twitter broke down on. But so understanding that and knowing that there needs to be one more spot, the week was taken. And knowing how this team works and knowing how Ataraxia works specifically, I think it's very easy to go ahead and say that the decision wasn't made, all right, we lost, all right, Zindern, you got it, peace. I imagine that the team used the bye week to go ahead and try to put themselves in a better position with Zindern. I imagine the bye week was used in that regard. Watch a lot of VODs. Do what we just did, but much more in depth. And identify that, yes, there was a situation and we've seen it fixed, and one by one, we've put ourselves in a position to win, but Zindern still just not pulling it up, whether it's in scrims, whether it's in practice, whether it's just in games. The idea is that the Zindern just doesn't have the experience necessary in the support role that we need to facilitate our game plan, which is honestly aggression. Variety is going to be extremely aggressive on these tiers and the Guan Yus, and the way that the mid jungle works for Captain Twig and Pretty Prime, they need to be aggressive as well. They got to start that up. They got to step that up. So going the way of Frezzy allows the team to be aggressive in that nature. Frezzy has the experience, not just on Dignitas, but for years beforehand. Now, the move to Frezzy, not only does Hunger for More move to Frezzy, but I don't have my notes and I can't see this. But they also changed things up just a little bit. Hunger for More versus Paradigm, they showed that they aren't a one-trick pony. They showed that they have other options in the bank as far as winning versus just being a gimmick team. They're not just about Naja goes up, Naja comes down, Vulcan hits him on front. Oh no, they banned our Naja, Fenrir goes up, he grabs him in the mouth, rides it on top. Like, it's not just this combination. They're moving into the right position. And versus Paradigm, they really, I mean, there's no information on the screen, but oh well. Versus Paradigm, they were able to go ahead and win the matches.
Now, Hungry for More has had a lot of success off of the 1-2 punch combo of mid and jungle so far.
Yes, but on the flip side of things,
Is that
so
it?
have Paradigm. They've been running a lot of...
Is that it? Yeah? Is that what I've said? Okay. Now let's take a look at the picks and bans for this one. Let's take a look at the picks and bans. Finish the picks and bans. Go ahead. So let's take a look at the picks and bans for this one. And you can see that this one is a little bit different. This composition is all about displacement. This composition, and that's a specific shout out to Variety. That's a specific shout out to Variety in the sense that Variety has shown to this team what tier can do. Shown to this team that tier can absolutely just devastate. And it's not tier specifically. It's the idea of the ability to push the opposition into a different spot. Tier has been able to go ahead and be very successful for Hunger for More because he's able to push the opponent into a spot where they don't want to be. That's the idea behind Captain Twig's Fenrir, right? So you take the Tier, you take the Sobek, you take the Hunt Bats, you take even the Raijin with his ultimate Raijus, right? And the taunt, the second beat, we'll call it, of the ultimate. All of these characters can put you in a spot where you don't want to be. Even Apollo's got a little baby knock-up. Not really, but it's there and you can talk about it. Paradigm, on the other hand, right? You can look at this draft and say this draft is just trash, but Xayah wins on chalk. Xayah makes this happen. This is what it's about. This is how they do it, right? So Paradigm's lineup is probably not one size fits all for all the teams in the SPL, but this lineup looks totally fine. There's nothing wrong with this lineup. And Hungry for More is able to completely disrupt what Paradigm has planned. They're able to just go ahead into the games, and they're able to just flat out literally push the enemy in the opposite direction. We see, look at this. Look at this. Is this a surprise to anybody? Captain Twig combining with Pretty Prime for the 1-2 punch kill? No, sure. I mean that's how games are played. Across the way you see the same thing. Thor and the Chronos. But just the burst damage out of Pretty Prime and the control out of the monkey, this is what has set Hungry for More up to at least stay relevant in the beginning game with Paradigm. Then as we continue on and the game gets later and later, Hungry for More starts getting a couple more kills. This is 4-1. And why is that? Because the monkey got a pick. We see a pick out of Hunbats. We see a pick here and there. And that's what the team composition is built for. You get Sobek, you get the monkey, you get Raijin, and Tier even makes a rotation. And you're able to pick people off. You're able to go ahead and find people in the wrong spot. Yo, Walrus. You trying to hold a 500? That's what I thought. But so we don't smack talk Drake in my chat. But so Hungry for More here. Basically what I'm getting at is they've moved to the next step. They've moved on. They've proven that they aren't just a single one-trick pony. It's not just, all right, we give Captain Twig either Naja or Fenrir, and he's able to push it into whatever damage that Pretty Prime has planned for him, right? That was the one goal. That was the one plan that we saw at A Hungry for More. And then in this game specifically, they're like, look, we have a different mentality. We have a different team. We have a different idea of how to go ahead and do that. And then you get to a point where it's 15-2, the number 8 team versus the number 3 team. Damn. Like, damn. You can, and my favorite part about this win against Paradigm is that it's not just a fluke. You can't say, oh, well, Paradigm picked Chalk. Or you can't say, oh, this wasn't so good. The guys on Paradigm weren't playing at their top capacity. And I will tell you that straight up. Paradigm was not playing at their top capacity. And I'm sure there are tangible reasons. Like, Paradigm played so poorly that it's obvious that something was going on. It's obvious that something was up. But I don't care, because Hungry for More, regardless of Paradigm playing poorly, was just that strong. They just looked that good. And then we go on to the next one, and look, let's look at Hungry for More versus Team Dignitas, because they even beat Team Dignitas, a team that was Team Dignitas, even a team that plays very well, that did very, very strongly, and it just. Now, Team Dignitas lost the game that Variety picked Chalk, and that's less a shot at Variety and more a shot just at Chalk. Like, Chalk is... I love Chalk, dude. Chalk is so much fun, and realistically, I can give you a scenario like Chalk. The reason people pick Chalk is because he's an early to mid game snowball god, sort of like how Bakasura does that, but then Bakasura translates in the late game a little bit better. Chalk, what his job is to go ahead and dominate that lane, just push you back to your tower, and then use that advantage to go ahead and pick up some early gold furies. The silence is fantastic when it comes to defending objectives, especially if you're first in there, so you don't have to worry about the DR, which is Chalk's main problem. And if there are channeled abilities, shouts to Tallow Assault and all the other options that aren't just one push button, they're channeled abilities. Chalk Silence really helps out against that. It really works out well against those characters. So there's a reason, there's a method, there's an idea to go ahead and bring Chalk into the situation. But he is not a god that currently wins. There needs to be a bigger thought behind him, not just let's put him in the lane and let him snowball. And Hungry for More was able to take advantage of the Chalk pick. I think that Dignitas probably at this point in time is probably a step above HFM, despite all of the positives that Hungry for More has made. But Hungry for More were able to win, even with the bad pick. Dignitas is a better team than Hungry for More. Even with the bad pick, Hungry for More found the way, or even without the bad pick, regardless, Hungry for More was able to find the win. So that's exciting. That's fun. And I'm excited for Hungry for More. Somebody in chat said, too bad it's probably too late for DreamHack. I don't really care. And honestly, I don't think these guys care either. Hungry for More, they're not going to win every single game after this. That's certainly not going to happen. I think that this team, yes, they look good. Yes, they're strong. Yes, all that fun stuff. But I mean, let's just look. Week 6, that's what we just saw. Hungry for More. Week 7, Week 7, Hunger for More go up against Fnatic, which they can probably find a win against, in all honesty. Week number 8, Hunger for More goes up against Cringe Crew. I don't think they're winning. Hunger for More goes up against Team Dignitas. I don't think they're winning. Week number 9, Hunger for More go up against Panthera. They're definitely not winning. And then week number 10, Hunger for More go up against absolutely nobody. No, they go up against the Leftovers, which they totally can win. So I think Hunger for More can 2-0 the Leftovers here. I think Hunger for More can split with Dignitas in week number 8. And Hunger for More lose to Panthera and everybody. So, like, I don't think this is a situation that the team winds up going to DreamHack. I don't think this is a situation that the team winds up going to DreamHack. And that's okay. DreamHack is an awesome time. Why am I so tilted? I don't know, man. It's been a really rough week. But the excitement of the SPL keeps me going. And that sounds really bullshit, but it's not. I love this stuff. I get so passionate. And like that's my whole gimmick, is that, like, not even a gimmick. That's just what I internalize, is that, like, whatever feelings I have, they come out via passion. And right now, I'm super passionate about the SPL. And you know what? There are reasons to be angry about these teams. Why are Fnatic... This is the tilt episode. This is where we have a rant, okay? Q&A, we're going to drop Q&A because I have to be at work. Like I said, I have to be at work in an hour. So no Q&A today. We'll have a rant instead. I'll read your guys' rants in chat. I want you guys... Later on, when I call for it, not now, we'll go ahead and we'll type in all caps and we'll bitch about everything that we're mad about in the SPL. Why is Fnatic losing? Why did Leftovers stop performing? Why is Hunger for More doing so well? What happened to Torpedo? We can go on and on and on about all the little things. What the hell happened to Luminosity and Envy? Right? We can do that, and that'll be a lot of fun, so I like that. But for real, it's just... DreamHack is not on the plate. DreamHack is not an idea in Hunger for More, and that's okay. It's totally fine. And if I'm on Hunger for More, specifically if I'm at Araxia, that's what I'm explaining to my teams. That's what I'm explaining to my players. That's what I'm saying to everyone that asks me. Is that, oh, you're not going to make it a DreamHack. And I go, word, I don't care. I'm going to Worlds. We call them splits for a reason. Spring split and fall split are splits for a reason. They're not seasons. It's one whole season. And that's how you have to look at it. You have to go ahead and you have to identify the fact that the early season, yeah, Sweden's going to be dope. They've got good food. They've got good women. They've got good fun. They've got good beer. DreamHack is one of the largest, if not the largest LAN in the world. You're going to be able to meet lots of people. And yes, I want to go. I want to be a part of that. But if I don't make it, oh well. Man, I broke my guitar pick. Oh well. There's a nice prize pool. Sweet. And I understand that, honestly, I completely understand that prize pool is important to sustainability in your professional career. But Worlds is really what you're looking for. Worlds is really, that's what players play for. That's what players want to see. That's what players want to be a part of. And this idea of the first split for a team like Hunger for More coming into this, I was well aware that Hunger for More was not going to be a top team. And I think if you ask Ataraxia with a cup of truth serum, he would say the same thing. Absolutely. I think Ataraxia would probably give you an example or an answer in the sense that, well, coming into this season, did we think that we were going to beat Panthera? Probably not, but the capability for the team was always there. I've always believed in the capacity of my individuals, and now you guys are finally seeing what I saw in my team initially, blah, 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 blah. As I said, one of the most political guys in Smite, and I don't mean that as shade, I mean that as a positive. But, so, Ataraxia coming into this situation understands. And yes, I'm doing what I don't like to do. I don't like to pretend to know what the players are thinking. I'm going to do it here. Ataraxia and the team of Hunger for More understand that they're probably not going to go to DreamHack. They get it. What up, Millard? They understand that. And that's okay. And that's something that hashtag fan logic, the fans at home don't understand, right? You don't make it to DreamHack, you lose. That's silly. That's not the idea. That's not what's going on. The plan was, to do everything we just broke it down. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. Make steps individually to go ahead and succeed. That bye week is where, did it succeed or not? Did we do what we set out to do? Did everybody improve on one thing over the week? I'm a teacher. I have taught in the past. I've taught a lot of music specifically, right? And this is so obviously students doing their homework. This is like so obviously that sort of situation where week 1, it was like Ataraxia's like, dude, I'm killing it. I don't care what y'all do, but y'all got to get better. And then week 2, it's like, Captain Twig, you did well. Now I want you to go home and practice working with the mid lane. And now, next week I want Variety to go home and practice there. And then you come back and you see the situation. You see the result. You get that. And Hungry for More has done that every single week. And then you take this bye week as a team and you watch the tape. You look at it and you say, all right, our squad was able to succeed. Our squad was able to take from 1 step to 2 step to 3 steps to 4 step. Is there still an issue? What is the issue? Let's identify it and move on. Shouts to the move away from Zindern and to Frezzy. It was immediately noticeable. As I said, Paradigm clearly had an issue. They did not play to their full potential, but Hungry for More still performed. And same thing. Yeah, Dignitas picked Chalk, and Dignitas is probably a better team than HFM. But Hungry for More was still able to find a win where they wouldn't have week 1, week 2, week 3. This is a concentrated effort by a team to improve, and I absolutely love it. I 100% love it. This is what you do to be successful in the Forget about the SPL. This is what you do to be successful in anything you put forward, in anything you do in life. You think I come out here and just go, all right, let's cast the game every single week? Nah, bro. I'm at the office till 9:30 at night, watching the VOD from the same day, looking at the nonsense Twitch chat is saying, looking at 4chan, looking at Reddit, looking at every ounce of the internet, trying to find some sort of feedback, plus my own. And I go, okay, week 1, I said take a look too often, so let's make sure we don't say that. Week 2, my only adjective was fabulous. Let's move on. Week 3, all right, I fixed those issues, but now I'm not synergizing with my analyst well. Week 4, etc., etc., etc. You do that every single time, every single day. That's why homework exists in school. People say, why is there homework? It doesn't make any sense. That's what it's for. It's for you to learn the lesson, you take it home, you get enrichment by doing it on your own, you're able to internalize it, and then the next week when there's a test, well, you know it because you've done it. You've worked on it. You figured it out. That's how you succeed in getting better. And Hungry for More has done that to a T. Hungry for More has put themselves in a situation where they're not just hungry, but they can actually feast. And that's what they did yesterday. They had a doubleheader against 2 teams that they shouldn't win. I think there are 6 people at home that voted for Hungry for More on their season ticket. And those 6 people are Zindern, Frezzy, Ataraxia, Pretty Prime, Captain Twig, and Variety. Those are the 6 people that voted for Hungry for More this weekend. And that is why I am so excited about Hungry for More. That is why I like these guys. Because they're actually giving it, you're actually seeing improvement. I don't see that from Fnatic. I don't see that from Torpedo. I don't see that from Envy yet. I'll get to Envy in a moment. I just don't see that. And that's a problem for the teams elsewhere around the league. If this is what Hungry for More is willing to do and going to do, then the other teams have to do the same. The other teams have to figure out and internalize what HFM is able to do and how they're able to succeed. Because this is not an accident. This is not a mistake. This is not an oopsie daisy. This is not a fluke. And I don't want to hear that. This is Hungry for More making a concentrated effort to improve. To improve. Now, you can't say anything about the Randozos. They just don't have a roster. Shouts to Thirst Season 1, Season 0. Like, they just don't have a roster. They've got a lazy Susan of players, and that's hard to improve with. So, I toss no shade at Randozos. But Torpedo, Fnatic, Envy, we don't see this concentrated effort to improve. Except until Envy this last week. I really like this change for Envy. We've got a role swap. I'm very excited. We're going to go ahead and see where where this team, where everybody lands as far as Envy is concerned. The games today should be relatively exciting. Today is, what is it? May 8th. So what are we in week number 6? Yeah, May 8th. Enemy has a doubleheader. Enemy takes on Envy at first. Enemy takes on Soar. Enemy's the number 1 team in North America. They're very, very good. They've earned that. Walrus. Well, honestly, you know, and you know what, I will revisit Randozzo's because flat out I forgot about Walrus. Shouts to Ace. That's a really cool name on Twitch. But I do owe Walrus not an apology, but I do owe Walrus a second look at the squad because of the changes that they made. Enemy versus Envy is interesting because, like I said, Enemy is the number 1 team in North America. Make no bones about it. Go ahead and look at the standings. I can't middle click this. Look at the standings, and they're 10-4. They're tied with Soar. And Soar is obviously, I mean, you look at the roster and you're like, Baskin, people call him the best player in the world, and Jigs, people call him one of the best minds in the game, and blah, 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 blah. These guys are going to set up for victory. What is this picture of Met Yankee? I want to see this picture of Met Yankee. Oh, man. I can't see this picture of Met Yankee. There he is. Mike Fasciano. I love that. Shouts to the team with the 2 Long Islanders. That's why they're winning, because they've got 2 Long Islanders. But so if you take a look at Enemy, right, you don't have that same idea. You know, it's like Panda Cat, all right, I remember Legion of Carrots. Pain Devion and Chaos, okay, they got lucky or whatever you want to say. That's not what I say, but you can say that. Verizial and Marauder, who are these guys, right? And these guys are number 1, and they've proven to be number 1. And as they go against Envy, who are 6-8, they have a negative win-loss record. You'll take a look at what Envy did before the break. They made a big role swap, and I'll break this down for you guys because they have changed a lot. Everybody is the same, but they have changed who's in what role. And if you haven't heard this, well, they haven't played under this yet, so there's that. Cyclone Spin goes from Hunter to the solo lane. The jungle is now occupied by Omega. Wait, he got a 0 because he was banned. Mid lane, well, that's still MLC Wealth. And then support, it's your boy Ionic, who started in the jungle. And then Hunter, yeah, you know, it's still, actually, no, it's Kiki, so cheeky, right? So I am not concerned in the slightest about Cyclone Spin in the solo lane. So Cyclone Spin is a player that, I mean, he was considered the best solo laner in the world. Yeah, Zift, go ahead and link it. He was considered the best solo laner in the world, or at least one of them, when it wasn't warrior centric. When it was more about interesting picks or Bakasuras or Thanatos, right? Cyclone Spin can do that. And so Cyclone Spin, this is a meta where that is not happening just yet, but it's I think it's able to happen. I think Bakasura can open the door. Omega in the jungle. There's a hilarious joke about Omega just being a Bologna, right? That's hilarious. It's so funny to make fun of Omega for being a one god wonder. But Omega's a winner. And Omega recognizes the fact that Bologna's going to win him games. So he goes ahead and he picks the Bologna. Well, in the jungle, realistically, if y'all actually know Omega, he streams Omega QTZ. He streams. If you actually know Omega, and I don't pretend to know him personally, he's a private guy, but I've been watching him play for, 3 years. Omega's God pool is extremely big. It's huge. I mean, the dude's favorite god is Hebo. Right? Like, doesn't mean he's going to play it. I love Chalk, but I hate when it's picked in the SPL because I just don't think it's a competitive pick right now. So, and Omega understands that. He has the things that he likes to play and the things that are required to win the game. And Omega in the jungle, I'm not concerned about his ability to be in the jungle as far as God picks are concerned. Excuse me. Not concerned about that. And I'm not concerned about his ability to be a shot caller either. Omega was the late game shot caller for his squad in the solo lane. When he was able to rotate, he was able to do it. And it was Mask when he was on Envy, and that didn't seem to work out for whatever reason. Not necessarily Mask being a bad shot caller, but just it didn't work out for this unit, and that's a whole different conversation. But Omega can make this work, and Eonic can make this work. Eonic in the support, that's Eonic's natural position. Eonic support just works out. I'm very happy with this. Cyclone Spin solo, Omega jungle, MLC mid, Eonic support. This is a top tier team. This is a top tier team. Kiki, I'm concerned about. Now, Kiki is a great player. I like Kiki as a person. That's besides the point. But I like Kiki as a player, and I think that Kiki is one of the players that can actually adapt very well. I think that Kiki, I know that Kiki has played mid and support. He's swapped around. He's done it. And he's a natural solo laner. Let that be known. Kiki is a solo lane. And then he went ahead and he played in the mid spot, and then he played in the support spot. He can learn and he can change. And Hunter's a little bit different than mid and support. This year they fight a lot, so I am curious, I am cautious, but I am optimistic about this lineup. Coming into this, I think realistically, Enemy and Envy wind up being a split. I think that Envy might beat Enemy in game number 1, and then Enemy are able to adjust. It's either a 2-0 for Enemy because they're just that good, and Envy still working on their roles, or Envy win game 1 because they hey, look at us, we're better and we've done this, and then Enemy adjust, which is why Enemy has been the number 1 team in North America. So I'm not too concerned about Enemy. I'm not too concerned about Envy either. We haven't seen the step-by-step improvement like Hungry for More. It's just kind of been like, what's going on? But with this bye week, I think that Envy has made a good look, and I'm excited to see what they do. And I'll be casting that set, and I'm really excited for that. So we'll see how that works out. Versus Soar, I believe their second one is. That'll be a little bit more tough. That'll be a little bit more tough. Soar, like we said, Soar is definitely in a position to 2-0 Enemy. That one can go either way. 2-0 for Soar, 2-0 for Enemy. I have no idea. Envy's too confident in themselves. I don't know about that. There's a certain air that you have to put out front than you have to put out, privately as well. And I believe that you always kind of need to be a little bit, you have to be confident. If you're not confident, if you don't show yourself being, that guy, if you don't show, yes, I believe in my team, then it's rough. I will be casting the Enemy versus Envy set with Hindu Man, and then I will be casting Enemy versus Soar with Anatoly, not Variety. So there's that. Somebody asked what book this was. This is The Last Lecture by Randy Pausch. It is it sounds morbid, but basically he was a computer science teacher. As a computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon, and he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and he gave a lecture about embracing what you do and, all that sort of stuff, and putting yourself to the next level and improving and being the best person you can be at that point in time, and understanding limitations at the same time as breaking those limitations. And it's a great read. I'm halfway through it. I'm really enjoying it so far. So Enemy versus Soar should be a little bit more interesting, I think, or a little bit less interesting, I should say, with all the role swaps on Envy. I think that winds up being that's a fun matchup. Soar, I think Soar versus Enemy is less about the intricacies of the changes and how teams adjust and just who's coming. So I kind of like that. Totally is still coach for Fnatic? No. You are not allowed to be affiliated with any team in the SPL or anything like that for that nonsense. I don't know anything about China's Pro League at all. Middle Nut. I have no clue on what China's doing. Randozos is who I wanted to talk about coming after the break. So Randozos are in a situation that, they're 1-13. That sucks. They've had a rotating roster. That sucks. They're not in a good spot. They're certainly not going to DreamHack, and I don't feel as positive about them. I don't feel as positive about them as I do Hunger for More. But with that in mind, I think that there are positives. This team definitely doesn't end the season 1-13 because of, look at what happened right before, and sure, they ran into Soar right before it went to the bye week, and that's neither here nor there. But Randozzo's did win a game off of Luminosity, and that's exciting. You got to see you got to see what they're able to do with the new roster. And if this roster will stick, because that's the problem. Like, I feel so bad for Elijah. I feel so bad for Aduro, and I feel so bad for Meerkat. These are the two dudes. These are the two dudes that are the constants on this team. These are the guys that started it, and they are the only ones that have been here. Left Syndrome is like the 30th Guardian on this team. Skeleton is back on the team for like the 12th time. Walrus stepped in 2 weeks ago, and Mark Wahlberg is doing it big. That's your new name, by the way, Mark Wahlberg. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe fuck yourself. I can't do a Wahlberg accent, but it's going to be dope. Walrus was a big addition to Randozzo's, which I mean, honestly, like Walrus is a fun dude. I have a lot of fun with Walrus on Twitter and in Twitch, and I like Walrus. Shouts to Walrus. But Walrus didn't play like this last season. Like, when I heard real talk, I will be completely honest with you. When somebody told me Walrus was on Randozzo's now, my response was, why? Why? And I don't think that, that's just going off his previous performances. He just wasn't a strong player. And he came like Randy Orton, just out of nowhere. And he succeeded so much in the past couple of games that Randozzo's were able to play. Even against Soar, he turned up. He was one of the only players on his team to have a positive KDA against Soar. He was 1 and then 1.3 in both of those games. And sure, he's like a warrior, so he doesn't die that much. But he was also able to turn that into a positive situation. And it wasn't the fact that he just went 0-1 and 0 or something, or like 0-0 and 0 or whatever. I want that $50 pro hand. I'm going to answer that question. And I'm going to fucking hold you to that. 0-2 and 4, 2-3 and 4 on the Osiris and the Robin. Walrus put his team in one of the better, like, that's what else can you ask for, man? What else can you ask for? And Walrus brings up that midseason scrims helped a lot, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that type of improvement from the individuals. And you know, everybody in game one just gets farmed. Sure, it's a Bacchus, but Skeleton gets farmed, and Aduro gets farmed, and you know, Meerkat turned up. Meerkat actually had a solo kill. I liked that, right? But Walrus 0-2 and 4, like that's all you can really hope for on the Osiris. The Walrus and the Meerkat were the two guys that I were looking here. And again, this is much less Randozzo's dropping the ball, and just, I mean, this is what this is about. It's Soar just turning up. And then even in game two, Walrus has a better game. 2, 3, and 4. He's able to be a little bit more active. Aduro can't land a spirit ball at all in this game, which is uncharacteristic of him. Left Syndrome still like gelling with the team. Skeleton has a much better game, but by the time mid-game comes around, everything turns around. Walrus maintained that constant into the late game. Walrus was a big part of this team. And I think that not only having Walrus here, but I think the roster lock will help Randozzo's out more than anything, to be completely honest with you. And yes, Walrus soloed Baskin. Yes, you're welcome, Walrus. But I think the roster lock will help this team more than anything. I think the roster lock helps this team more than anything because now they're guaranteed to have Skeely around and they're guaranteed to have Walrus around. And I don't know if Left Syndrome is permanent or just a sub, but they have more people to depend on. It's not a Duro and Meerkat in the traveling circus, which is basically what this team was. Like, it was a Duro, the 3-ring leader, with Meerkat, the strong man, and our local collection of the Freak Show. That's what Randozzo's was. It was straight up a clown car. A Duro was driving, Meerkat was in the passenger seat, and whoever wanted to jump in the back was totally allowed. That's what the plan for Randozzo's was up before this situation. It was just straight up like a Duro and Meerkat, like, someone please play with us, please. Does anybody want to play with us? Not even Skeledon? Ah, shit. What do we do? Right? Like, that's what happened. That was the issue for Randozzo's. It was, yes, they're not the best team on the planet, but it was so much like, remember how I spent an hour? Remember how I spent an hour talking about how Hungry for More was able to go and sit there in week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and we identified everything that changed, every little bit that they were able to improve. That can only happen if a team has a roster. That can only happen if you have people to teach, right? Like, Adura and Meerkat just kind of go, man, I hope someone sticks around so that we can look at it. Because they're looking at the VOD, you know, Meerkat's probably like, all right, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have done this, or I should have changed here. And Adura's going, yeah, this is what I can improve from last week to next week, and this is what I can do differently from this scrim to that scrim. And then Skeledon's like, I'm leaving the team. And this guy's like, I'm leaving that, right? It was just a problem. Now that the team has a steady roster, I think that they're in a much different situation, a much better situation to win. And it totally helps that Walrus is out of nowhere and is playing really well. I hope that continues. Because this is a team like, I legitimately want to see these guys succeed. Skeledon is a good friend of mine. Well, not Skeledon's a guy that I have become like friends with at LANs recently, like more so than other people. We have a lot of common interests, and Skeely's just a really nice guy on top of it all. You know, Aduro's always been the homie. I always show the old ass picture from launch tournament when he was the Dig Aduro, the sub for the black and yellow, right? And then, you know, Meerkat's a fun dude. Meerkat's always in the stream and chilling. I like these guys. I want to see them succeed. And it's not just because I like these guys. I think these guys are actually good, you know? So I think that this is the point where Randozzo's just go upwards. I think that this is the point where these guys are done being the clown fiesta. Do they go to DreamHack? No. Do they go to Worlds? Maybe. No. But they can put themselves in, and you know what? I won't say they won't go to Worlds because anything can happen next split. But they're not going to DreamHack, and that's okay. And these guys can succeed, and these guys can do well. And basically, I think that Randozzo's goal here is less about is less about their spot on the lineups, and less about this, that, and the third, and more about the situation where how do they improve and how do they get better, and how do they avoid relegation? And I think if Randozzo's continue the trend that they're going to, ignoring the SOAR game because that's just unfair, that Randozzo's wind up in a situation where when relegation comes around, it's not even a question. I think it's a situation where it's just like, well, all right. There's that. It's done. We're just better. So I'm positive about a lot of these teams. Honestly, Fnatic is the only team that I'm not so positive on. I need to see more changes. And, you know, you want to talk about it sucks seeing your friends like fail. Reels is one of my best friends in the SPL, and he has been for years. Jiffy, I have quickly become close with because of we hang out in the same circles outside of the game. So, like, these guys are my friends, and they're not improving, and I can't identify anything really exactly, but that's my issue, and that's where we're gonna start the rant off, guys. Wait, actually, Walrus's crap IMO. You should probably watch the game a little bit more, but I want that $50. I actually need that $50. I'm gonna scroll up. Prohan says, "Is this on screen?" Yes, it is. Prohan says, Where are you? Here you go. Be honest with me, and I'll give $50. I'm holding you to this. Why doesn't the Randozzo's get sponsors? And I'm like, well, first of all, let's go ahead and let's break down the difference between a sponsor and an organization. It's silly and it doesn't really mean much, but basically you mean organization. A sponsor is just like, hey, Duracell is giving us free batteries. That's a sponsor. An organization is like Luminosity or Denial or SOAR, etc. Why doesn't Randozzo's get the organization behind them? And obviously there's the fact that they're not winning at the moment. That's a big part of it, and that will always be a big part of it. But then there's also the situation of individual publicity. What does a company get out of sponsoring a pro team? Huh? What does a sponsor get from an organization by supporting a pro team? It's marketing. That's really all you get. You get marketing. It's marketing. That's all that is. And so, Randozzo's, they don't win. They're 1-13, which means, whether or not this is true, the mindset of they're a lower seeded team, they're a lower end team, because they're not winning, they're not exciting to watch, so the viewer count will go down when they are playing. If X is the average amount of viewers, X minus whatever, X minus Y, because it's an 8th seeded team, is going to happen. So you're not going to get as many viewers looking at your brand. If I have F.esports or whatever the hell, right? My goal is to get as many people to see my brand as possible. Not just because I want everybody to know F.esports, but that's a thing, but also because the Logitech patch on my left shoulder and the whatever, my NASCAR jacket that has all my logos and my sponsor shout outs that my players are going to do in the post-game interviews. Nobody's going to hear them because my team's not winning. So there's that. Right? The Frick Dotters aren't exactly successful. So my team doesn't get a chance to be interviewed, so they don't get a chance to go, all right, I want to give a shout out to everybody that sponsors me. Shout out to Company 1, Company 2, Company C, Company D, and all of my teammates and my friends and the troops overseas, right? You don't get that opportunity if you're not winning. If you're not going to LAN, you don't get super viewers, right? Like if you're at LAN, now your players are on camera. Now your players are wearing their jerseys with all the logos, and people just see that accidentally, and LANs get higher viewership. And take that a step further, outside of just winning, there's also the individualism. Meerkat, Left Syndrome, Aduro, Skeleton, and Walrus. Aduro streams occasionally, and nobody else does. And for what it's worth, Aduro doesn't stream with a camera, and having a face cam on seems very, simple, but having the face cam associates people with your face. Everybody knows what Barracuda looks like. Everybody knows what Laz's looks like. And that's a big deal for sponsors. That's also part of the success of their stream, but that's a big deal for sponsors and organizations. So being able to go out there and being able to find these players that everybody's going to watch because of their face cams or whatnot, and just having logos out there in this third is shut up. Being able to go out is very important to that. So the organizations and sponsors are a little bit different than just, hey, there's an SPL team, we should give them money. There's got to be a return. ROI is the business term. And, if I'm going to invest in somebody, because keep in mind, sure, the high-res pays for travel, but there's still jerseys, there's components, right? I got to get a keyboard, a mouse, maybe even a monitor for my players. If, God forbid, their computer breaks, I got to fix that for my players. I got to make them wear jerseys. Maybe I don't pay for them to go to LAN, but maybe I pay for them to go to boot camp, which is hotels and travel cost. All of that is exerting effort. And also, not for nothing, there's this intangible value of your brand. If you're associated with a shitter team, is your brand still valuable? No, TSM is valuable because they were a titan of League of Legends, and they were pretty good at and that's why they don't speak about their other stuff, because they weren't, it doesn't bring the same bravado as their League of Legends brand. So it's a little bit of column A in the sense that the team just isn't good, so they're not going to associate with a bad team. There's a little bit of column B where the team isn't good, so the viewership potentially goes down when they play unless people are seeing the sponsors and the people that put money into it. And there's a little bit of column C in the sense that individually these players aren't doing it. ALG worked out really well. ALG worked out really well. You look at ALG, and sure, they're not a good team. Well, they're not a terrible team. They are able to find some wins. But you've got 3 of the biggest streamers in Smite on this team. And make no bones about it, a lot of jokes were told in the beginning of the season about this team being just a bunch of streamers. But at the end of the day, Incon, Lazes, and Matty are a big part of what makes this team attractive. Is the fact that not only do these guys stream on their own time and successfully, so that when Allegiance has sponsors, like, you ever tune into Lazes and he's just got like a DX Racer logo or something, or whatever the hell Allegiance is sponsored by? I mean, that's part of the deal. 1,000 people a day are going to see that plus. So that's part of why that's exciting. And then you take all the entire viewership, all the bazillions of subs that the Pickler has, that Lazes has, all of Incon's Twitchers that he has, they're all going to watch the SPL. So just like teams that don't do well get minus, like X minus Y, teams that, regardless if they do well or not, the individuals that stream, thank you so much, Millard. $5 for the 5 Angry Dogs. Any plans of rebooting the 5 Berry Doge? I don't have any personal plans. But the individual streams of Incon, Lazle, and Matty, all of their individual viewers you can argue that the SPL stream will be X plus Z, where Z is equal to all of the viewership of those people combined. Incon and Matty specifically have a lot of non-SPL people watching their stream. People that don't necessarily like that's cute, Prohan, thank you. That don't necessarily watch their stream because of SPL, but just because they're fun people. Matty Pocket and Incon have a lot of casual viewers, and those casual viewers might not always tune into the SPL, but they will when Matty and Incon do. And because they're tuning into the SPL, now everybody's seeing Team Allegiance, right? Team Allegiance is a newer team. Right? Bing, bang, boom. The Lost Spellcaster, welcome to the team. Thank you so much for supporting the stream. 4,600 followers on Twitter is Team Allegiance. They're relatively new. They were invented last November. That's like less than a year ago, right? We take a look at Lazes. Lazes has 27.6 thousand followers on Twitter. We take a look at Incon. Incon has 21.3 thousand followers on Twitter. We take a look at Matty Pocket. Homie has 35,000. What are you joking? These guys combined have 70,000 Twitter followers, and Allegiance has 4K. You don't need to be a marketing genius to understand the spread that these players have. Why this team is attractive to Team Allegiance. Why that's going to work out. Why that's something. So. So it's, yes, all right, Scott Gandhi, when you're the Michael Jordan of Xbox, yeah, you're gonna do that. 90.8K. Holy gefilte fish. What did you have, like 60 when you joined Hi-Rez? That's the beauty of hitting 2 completely different audiences, Halo and then Smite. But there's a lot to say there, for real, about the individuals that work hard and do their thing, and their value to other people. They're valued to other people. Why do YouTubers get paid to make YouTube videos? Because even a scumlord like Scott Gandhi, who hasn't made a video in 12... Actually, all right, he put a video out a month ago. My bad. But, like, he's got 39,000 subscribers. 39,000 people are going to watch that video, right? Is it a Super Bowl ad? Absolutely not. But people pay multiple millions of dollars on Super Bowl ads. So when somebody approaches somebody like Scott Gandhi, who has a relatively small footprint on YouTube, when you start thinking about 100,000, 500,000, 1 million subscribers get a notification when you put out a video, that's enticing to sponsors. That's exciting to sponsors, right? I mean, everybody knows who Nadeshot is, right? Your boy has 2.5 million subs on YouTube. Dennis Rodman, I could see Scott in the dress. 2.5 million subs on YouTube. Nadeshot is. We go over to Twitter, right? Nadeshot has 1.61 million followers on Twitter. And a lot of those are crossover, but not all. Not all. Twitch and MLG, also stupid amounts of followers. So is it a surprise that he's got a Red Bull hat on all the time? Nah, dude. You think he just likes the Red Bull logo? You know, he probably does. But it's no surprise to me. Red Bull's paying him money to wear a fucking hat, dude. Straight up. So all these pros, I have seen pro Smite players log on their stream for the first time. Of course you have less followers than Aura. Aura's cute. You don't post selfies. All of these, I have seen, who's the best example? I saw somebody streaming the other day. Somebody new. All these guys, they just go ahead and they're like, all right, I'm going to try this stream thing. Instantly 80 viewers. Instantly 80 viewers. Because there is an inherent attachment to SPL level play that is interesting to watch. It is cool, and it is fun, and it is exciting, and you are automatically given a launch platform. Every single week, I get people in my chat saying, hey, F-Dot, how do I start a career doing YouTube? Or how do I start doing what you do? You work in esports for a living. I don't do the Twitch and the YouTube thing, not just yet. But the Twitch thing helps me pay my bills. I need to do the Twitch thing. It's definitely part of my job. But my job is in esports. How did I do that, right? Well, it was a lot of hard work and grind and ethic. And that's going to be the same thing for the pros. But these guys get a launching platform. These guys have NOS in the tank while everybody else buys a freaking Civic. If you're in the SPL, you're guaranteed 50 viewers. Absolutely. 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 Scary D turns his stream on. Eotic turns his stream on. Skelunon turns his stream on. They get 20 to 50 viewers like that. Anybody else, you're starting at 0. When you start at 20 to 50, you can snowball. It's the same idea as Heartseeker. More numbers means higher numbers at the end game. It's that simple. And yes, I get it. Streaming kind of sucks. You can't go ahead and you can't say everything that's on your mind. You can't, I don't know, if you smoke, you can't smoke on stream. Well, you can, but it's kind of douchey, right? You can't get too drunk. You got to be careful. You got to, right? Like all this stuff. I get it. But that's part of the game. That's part of the thing. That's part of the stuff. That's part of how it's done, fam. And for all these people out there that don't have sponsors or complain about the payouts from not just SPL, but I'm talking esports in general, you're given a situation, you're given a platform. Everybody else out there has their hand to go, hey, what's up? And then the SPL players just have, I really wish I had, like a megaphone. It's just like, right? You have this platform. Work this platform, right? Allegiance, again, they're not the number one team. They're not going to be the number one team. I get that. But 3 of their players have a combined like 80,000 Twitter followers, 70,000 Twitter followers. That's what we call a footprint. That's what we call a social media footprint. And that is tangible. That is tangible. You can look at that and go, if I'm a brand, and I don't want to do the opposite. I could find a bunch of pros with like 2,000 Twitter followers, but I won't. if I'm a brand and my brand, if the Frick.esports has 40,000 Twitter followers and then my entire Smite team combined has 2 on everybody, 11,000 Twitter followers, I'm just not that interested if they're not going to LAN. I'm just not that interested if I'm not going to LAN. Because what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Huh? Am I going to go ahead and I mean, that's just charity at that point. You're not doing anything for my brand. You're not doing anything like that. It's about the give and take. So why do some teams have organizations behind them and why do others not? Is it 100% players' faults? Absolutely not. But can players put themselves in a better position to market themselves, market their brand, market the game, and then actually achieve something from it? Absolutely. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to stop shitting on the game. I work for Hi-Rez, and that has a sour tone to it. I'm not going to sit here and say that tweeting out about the game being broken or items being trash or balance team not knowing what they're doing. I'm not going to say that. It sounds weird coming from me. But if I'm an organization looking for teams to sponsor, I'm not, and look at my Twitter. I am not Mr. Political. I am opinionated. I post my opinion. I let everybody know how I feel. I post not safe for work stuff. I post stuff completely unrelated to what I do for a living. Right? I'm not saying you have to be, hello and welcome to my Twitter. Today, I have a game. You can view it on the best Twitch channel in the world, twitch.tv/HiResTV. I'm not saying you have to go out every single time and go, excellent matches. I'm excited for our performance today. And then later on go, GG's to our opponent. That was a tough one. I ain't saying that at all, bro. I'm not saying that. But be active. When you have a game, go ahead and put your name out there. When you have a match, go ahead and do it. Stream some, put on a camera, right? Take some pictures. Just take a selfie every day. All right, streaming's too stressful. I'm bad. I'm bad at talking to chat. I don't like to be public. I have social anxiety. I have bad opinions and all this. Fine. Make every excuse up in the world. There's nothing stopping you from going, got a game today. Can't wait. Just associating your face out there is a move in the right spot. Are you the only one that doesn't take Twitter and co seriously? Yeah. When multi-million-dollar companies take Twitter seriously, you should. Well, maybe, I mean, Hunzin, your name is familiar. Are you a console player? Scott Gandhi does it, and I do it. Like, that's important. That's your personal brand. You know, just ask Clerky about it. He's not a dude that doesn't understand this type of thing, right? I mean, he's sponsoring Enemy. Payne's one of the more notable dudes in the league, right? That's not a mistake. And then take 2, you can go ahead and you can be a little bit more like, all right, we got 3 rookies. Who cares if they stream or not, right? Because we've already gotten to worlds. We can associate our brand. And then there's a lot of other things that Enemy does outside of Smite, right? That brings the right eyes to them. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Completely unrelated, but Kyle Raycast, he comes into chat. He becomes a member of the community, right? He becomes a member of the community. He starts talking. He starts piping up. He links me a band, right? I tweeted out. I played on stream. He sold 10 CDs in 2 days, right? And I'm freaking small. I'm a small dude on the internet, right? Think of a footprint like Scott Gandhi. Think of the potential footprint like Nadeshot. Now all of a sudden, if extrapolate that, right? I got what, 9,000 followers on Twitter? I get 200 viewers on Twitch, right? You extrapolate that, and he sold 10 records. You extrapolate that, and you go, okay, all right. You know, this guy's got 500,000 followers, and he's going to go stream to 1,000 people a day. Now, instead of Kyle Raycast being in a band, linking me his band page, now he's a record exec And he's going to give me his music so that 500,000 people see it, and now he's selling 200,000 records, right? That's what it's about. That's why these companies invest in these esports brands. I mean, we're seeing Coca-Cola sponsor League of Legends. You really think Coca-Cola gives a shit about Leona Mid or whatever hell gods are in League of Legends? Absolutely not. But they see that there's more people watching League of Legends World's Finals than the NHL Stanley Cup, and they're going to go ahead and bite. Like, that's a thing. It frustrates me when I see people, complain. And again, this is less about the Smite players and more about the people around it. Complain about the situation of lack of organizations or lack of sponsors when really it's internal. Panthera is an extenuating circumstance. Panthera is a completely different story, and I will not go into that. That's more private than public. But everybody, for teams like Randozzo's, like, sure, maybe they need to be a little bit more successful. But Cringe Crew is a perfect example. I love these dudes, man. I like the NHL too. Go Islanders, bro. My hat's right here. Go Islanders, bro. But like Cringe Crew, Shaggy Shank, Emilzy, Caro, Replicas, Axios, all include Deathians and Soggy Sandal. Who are these guys? Who are these people? Oh, I saw Emilzy at a LAN 2 years ago. Cool. They're number 2 in Europe. They're going to DreamHack. Tens of thousands of people are going to see them on screen. But who are these guys? That's a problem. That's an issue. I love every single person on Cringe Crew. I don't know Axios at all. But I like Reppy, I like Kiro, I like Emilzy, I like Shaggy. But who are they? Why did Enemy pick up the Season 2 Spring-Summer team? Enemy, honestly, that probably wasn't the best business move. But it turned into something great. The owner of Enemy was, young, fresh, newer to the idea. And when you're a brand like Enemy and not a brand like LG or TSM, you don't exactly have pick of the litter. So the combination of Enemy understanding that they wanted to be in Smite and probably just spoke to the first person that came up. It was like, hey, all right, we understand. Enemy makes the business move knowing that Smite's going to be a big league, or at least bigger than it has been. And they understand that they want to get involved. So Enemy goes ahead and finds, a liaison to the Smite League, and it's probably just like, all right, whatever. Who was that? That was shithead Takati, wasn't it? Yeah. It was probably just like, all right, Takati's talking to us. Okay. Sure. Okay. Right? And then from there, you can go ahead and you can schmooze your way to a better team. They wound up second at Worlds. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. So, I don't know. Opinions on COG being done with the Smite scene now? I don't really have an opinion one way or the other. Cognitive Gaming is, it's a small internal organization. David Fry's a really nice guy. He's been really supportive of me. I really like him. I'm supportive of him. I still have my F.Cog jersey right there. What up, Maffication? It's been a while. So, I don't know. I got I got 15 minutes if you guys want to. We said we were going to do rant. I'm in a better mood now. You can still rant. I'll read your rant out. But if you guys have any questions, you guys can go for it. If Leftovers had a better sponsor or a better manager, maybe they'd have a sponsor now. No. My question is, honestly, go beat your team up and make them stream. What do I think about Eager? I think Eager is one of the best teams in the world. Did Rick Fox ever respond to me about Echo Fox? No. I'm a small guy. Rick Fox was at PAX, and I wasn't at PAX. I hope that people talk to him at PAX, but I'm not involved with that. Why are F.puns not punnier? What do I think of Tolly's casting so far? Tolly sucks. No, I'm kidding. Tolly's. I'm really excited actually. I must live to work. ATL. Yeah, I live pretty close to work. Toli's at a really good spot to start. And I will say that completely unrelated to anything that Toli has as far as talent-wise is his willingness to learn and his willingness to do work. That is all I care about as a teacher and as a colleague. That's all I care about. So I'm very excited to have Toli on the team. I think that his level of knowledge is not. He brings something he brings something different than Allied did. Allied brings, because he'll be back. Allied brings a pro stance and deep knowledge of the game, but he brings more of the he brings more personality to the broadcast. And it totally brings some personality, and we'll get there. And that's something that Toli's working on specifically. But Toli brings more of the specific, level 8, he's going to go in because there's 4 points in power cleave and is able to go ahead and find the peel off, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what Toli brings to a broadcast. That stuff that doesn't come to mind, even, and it's hard to find that. So I'm very excited to have Toli, and as far as his ability as a broadcaster, he's doing all the right moves to succeed. Do I think the Islanders will come back down from 1 to 3? I'm not sure. I don't know enough about hockey to intelligently comment on that. I am a 100% unashamed playoff hockey watcher, but Scott Gandhi can definitely answer that on to you. Thoughts on anime? Anime titties. That's how I say it every single time I see it. What about Eager? Eager's great. How'd I convince Toli to cast? I didn't. I was not involved in that conversation. Why am I handsome? I work on that all the time. Luna, Zuri, excuse me. I bet you could beat him up. You got big muscles. How long till Smite streams so I can cast? About an hour, a little bit over an hour. German football. I heard something about that, more Sharks, but I actually didn't get too many details. Why do teams still use Warriors as support? They work. It works. I don't think it doesn't work, especially if it's Guan Yu. Do I think Snoopy ends up on a team? Yes. I just hope he doesn't play solo lane. I would love to see Snoopy in the mid lane. Snoopy doesn't like Hunter, but I'm sorry, dude. You're really good at it. Why can't you be in Smite? I don't know. Is the bigger high-end brands of Smite leaving Smite an indicator that its pro scene is shrinking? Neither, honestly. The bigger high-end brands leaving Smite have less to do about Smite and more to do with the teams that they were affiliated with. TSM probably won't be back, and that's just a gut feeling. But all the other teams, whether it's Cloud9, etc., I definitely see them in a potential future coming back. Luminosity's fucking huge. So I don't think it's more of a I think it's less of a ooh, Smite sucks, and more of a this team didn't work out, we're moving on. If another Smite team comes out that we're excited on, sure. What do I think about Burrito Esports? It's a joke. Why did Hi-Rez buff Apollo? I love Apollo. Optic picking up Xbox Smite team? I hope so. Shouts to Gandhi. Go make that happen. Totally very specific. Faster. He's a caster. I think Eager will make DreamHack. Yes, I do. 100%. The opinion on Susan. People seem to say that he has lots of damage. And Toli's voice is thick. I wonder what you mean by that. Toli needs a little bit more inflection. He's probably, he's very flat like Kret was, is. And that's something that even if you look at yesterday's broadcast, he's already improved from the day before and the day before that. So that's something nobody comes in Hi-Rez didn't hire a professional. Hi-Rez hired Anatoly, somebody that has never casted before, similar to how when they hired me. And we all have stuff to work on. I had to bring it down. Toli has to bring it up, and we'll find that. And Toli, like I said, is definitely putting in the work. He has a lot of the natural affinity for it. And I gave him a book 2 days ago, and he told me he read half of it yesterday. So there's no concern about Anatoly, and I'm very happy to be on the team. What do I think about the role swap with Torpedo and Left of fuck jungler, dude? What do I think of Hindu's ill-fitting shirt or suit? Hindu lost a lot of weight. I wish I could do that. Hindu lost a lot of weight. I would much rather my suit look funny because I lost a bazillion pounds than still be a Landwell like I am. What do you think Allegiance needs to do to start winning? I think they started it. Their role swap is definitely a big part or a big step in the right direction. Unfortunately, no, I don't think Brandon will come back, and I feel the same way. I loved casting with Brandon was the most fun I've ever had casting in my 3 years as a broadcaster, and unfortunately, I don't think he will be back in the SPL, but hopefully sometime in the future, Brandon and I can cast either Smite outside of the SPL or something else. I'm totally down to cast anything. I love broadcasting. I love commentating. It's just fun. Yeah, no, exactly, Toki. Exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Who's the best? I don't know about that. Gravity Tense. So Huns, and I feel you on that. I actually don't like. I prefer the more professional stuff. I think that Tolly and I had a lot of fun on the broadcast yesterday, and I thought the broadcast yesterday was pretty good. Where it was a nice balance. We told a couple of jokes, but in general, Anatoly has a wealth of knowledge that a lot of Smite players don't have access to. So I'm excited to having that knowledge. And if you guys ever heard Cred at the launch tournament, he was more monotone than Tolly. And just working at it and doing it. He came in last week and did fine. And he didn't sound monotone all the time. And he improved. And that's him not casting for like 2 years. So I don't think that's an issue. Snoopy pickup for Envy as an ADC. I would love that, but I don't know if Snoopy would. What's my opinion on Hungry for More? Watch the first half of the VOD. I talked all about it. Bandwagon fan? I'm not a fan at all. Have I seen a pretty big... I have heard about that, but I haven't seen the... Hey, fuck DM Brandon. More like, fuck Dabs Faded. Get out of my chat. You suck. To bring the missing 13 gold is a huge misplay aspect to casting. Yes, he does. And make as much fun as you want about that. But that's, like, important. And that level of passion and enthusiasm is what made Brandon a great commentator. And honestly, what makes me a good commentator. Gandhi's a huge Caps fan. Is Crack going to cast again? Unlikely. People need to stop complaining. Especially now free chested chat. I agree. I don't think Eager will make DreamHack. Yes, I do. Thoughts on Enemy doubleheader today? I'm excited. I think Enemy... this is one of my... I'm very excited. I think Enemy will be... Woof. Enemy Envy, Enemy Soar. These teams are super, super matched. Why am I so focusing on destroying our snap streak? What's up, Nulissa? I'm still mad you didn't come to the spring fling. Fuck Snoopy, you should have taken an Uber. Favorite thing to get at Burger King? I don't eat Burger King too often. Ever. I had Wendy's the other day, like 2 weeks ago. But I really... Dollar Menu is my best friend at this point. I find it super hard to believe he was arguably the best ADC. I mean, no, Walrus. Snoopy said that he never enjoyed the Hunter role. Like, that's from the horse's mouth. That's not me. I never say like to pretend like I know what the player is thinking without prefacing it that I am taking a guess. If I ever say something that this player feels this way, it's because I've spoken to them. Kiki doesn't do good. Does Snoopy get a spot? I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know. TSM needs to go away already. It's like an old grandparent trying to be hip. Yeah, it's true. You did have to play so back in for a long time there. That's totally true. Cloud9 should pick up Cringe Crew. No, Cloud9 probably wants to pick up a North American team. They're a North American organization. How do I feel about the console league? I love North American SCL. There's a lot of personality, and Europe is moving in the same direction as well. I really like those guys on Rival. I think Rival's a lot of fun, and all of what I was talking about players not putting themselves in the spotlight, you see that from the console guys. So I really like it. Do I think LG is going to make DreamHack? I'm not sure. I am definitely not too sure. I forget what you guys are laughing at. But I fired shots currently. Why is the name Left Syndrome allowed, but you had issues with Rapio? I don't know anything that's wrong with Left Syndrome. What's wrong with Left Syndrome? I don't know. What did I say that I'm getting fined for? That you can try and fine me $500. Go right the fuck ahead. Go ahead. Overdraft, $495. I know what you have to do to lose weight. Just let me chase you with it. Yo, Rinsler, get out of here. Out of here. I think it would ever work to have a procaster. Yes, absolutely. How long would a procaster take to learn Smite? Everybody gave my boy Gandhi shit, and they were completely wrong. Gandhi knew the game well enough to cast at a chair 1 level. Not everybody needs to be super in-depth knowledge about the game. Gandhi can answer this question better than I can, but it took him a month or two to learn the game well enough to cast from a presenter point. I 100% thinking a pro caster from another pro scene or from traditional sports. Yes, of course it would work. It happens all the time. How many members will pay and kick after DreamHack? I don't know. What's my name? My name is Tom Battinger. And I spell Tom with an H. THOM. Do I think Wiki, Snoopin, and Degars make a team? No. Do I think Laz is losing motivation for Smite? I have no idea. DM said he might go to Overwatch. I believe that. Why did DM quit? He wanted to quit after a certain incident on stream. What do you think about MLC underperforming? I don't think that MLC has been the same guy he has been since MVP at Worlds in a while. How do I feel about football teams starting to sponsor esports players? I like it. Gimmick or nah? No, I think it's tangible. I think it's real. We're seeing that in the NBA. We're seeing that in the NBA in the sense that the NBA is getting interested in esports, and in North America, teams are settling down. Renegades, the team that Monte Cristo is associated with, are settled in LA, and then you see in North Carolina, Envy has made their arena. There's like a home base for Envy, as well as they have an arena in one of the Carolinas. Again, Gandhi can probably answer that better than I can. Not because he's more associated with Envy, but because he's from damn Carolinas. Virginia, same thing. I'm gonna get shot, but so I think that the move for traditional it just makes sense because there's money in it and it's competition. Shaq and Alex Rodriguez and a couple of other athletes have invested into NRG, and Rick Fox is a NBA analyst and former NBA champion on the Lakers, and he's invested in his own. Situation. Sponsored by Red Bull. Walrus. I wish, dude. How do you feel about Scary D? He's okay. Actually, Scary D played a lot better, and I like to give people second chances. Scary D was a dickhead last year. I've heard a lot that he's not this year, and I'm excited to give him that opportunity. Since Laz is getting burnt out, I can't confirm that. Would I have any advice for him to keep on forward? No. Product placement. Dude, you guys think that... you guys are so completely wrong. Was Kret considered as a new caster? Absolutely not. He's very busy being a game designer. So, Chewy Chronos, don't be dumb, dude. Come on, man. Opinions on LG being able to take players in and seemingly make them better? That's interesting. Do I enjoy Scary D's MS Paint art? I want him to draw me something, and then we'll be good. We'll be woof. Yeah, just rough. We want Dry Bear, tough shit. Strong points and weak points of all the casters, in your opinion? My strong point is definitely presentation. I'm probably the better desk host out of most of us, but I have issues with limiting the analysis that I bring into the game, and that I probably shouldn't talk as much as I do. Adonis is pretty good at just commentary and lacks the desk hosting ability, but his ability to host an analyst desk is very strong. Hinduman doesn't really have, I don't know. Hinduman's on point. Honestly, I just like our commentary staff. Real talk. Real talk. When is Drybear going to cast? He's not. He's got a better job. I don't know what the issue is with left syndrome. If it's offensive in some way, I'm not aware, and let me know and we'll change it. Brandon left. He didn't get fired. Wendy's nuts in your mouth. I don't know who Romulus is. When are me and Alyssa going to be official? That's not a thing. We're good friends and she's beautiful, but that's not a thing at all. Do I know when the Drybear cat? Oh, right. Spring Fling. I have no idea. I find that hard to believe. I forget what you talked about. Oh, right. Snoopy. I mean, I'm just saying that's what Snoopy was saying. Why is my phone going ham? That's cute. What is this? What is this? Oh, I thought they were talking about distracting me. Now I'm distracted. What time is it? I got 1 minute. Baskin joined C9 and became one of the best solos. And Scary D joined C9 and performed absolutely great. Coincidence? Yes. Do I think Eager will make it a dream hack? Yes. Have Envy even played yet? No. How many bags of chips on average do I sell per LAN? Not as much as I need to. Probably 10 years older than Andy. Most likely. Andy's 12? No, I think he's 18 or something. Apparently Envy has gone some weird picks in certain roles. Any idea what they're going to bring out today? Not quite. Let's see. Kyle? Hell yeah. There's only one Kyle. I think Omega will play. I'm not sure, honestly, what Omega will play. What am I getting fined for? I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. Down syndrome? Left syndrome is not Down syndrome, bud. I don't think that's... that didn't come to mind. You know, syndrome can be used in many different contexts than just Downs syndrome, right? Also, it's Downs syndrome, not Down syndrome, which is even more so away from left syndrome. But keep on keeping on. Bring back Gandhi? I wish, but Gandhi's far too important. EU DreamHack, third spot still up for grabs? Absolutely. Apparently, NVS, yeah, I believe that. You never enjoyed Jungle, but you're still playing it. Stupid, why do the same? It's possible, Cherio. It's possible. I hope so. You know, I hope so, because Snoopy brings a lot to a team. Gandhi was great. Exactly. No, Gandhi it's actually interesting because Gandhi is a commentator that most people don't like at first. I didn't like Gandhi's commentary at first. It had nothing to do with his ability to know the game. I just didn't like his style. And I very specifically remember after 3.5 weeks, I remember listening to a cast with him and Bart, and it was fantastic. He had that conversationality that I like. Brandon left. I'm so sad to see. Yes, I love Gandhi as a commentator, so there's that. F.com. I still don't know how you pronounce that, Q. Oh, man. Thoughts on Scary D? I'm excited for the future. Skyrim? No, it's always how I spelled my name. Let's see. Thor Undercover. Do I actually play Smite? Yes, I do. I stream every night. Twitch.tv/fswag. Why do I think every state around Virginia is Virginia? No one wants to be fucking Virginia. I think stealth has too much mid-knowledge and mechanical skill to give that up for a different role. I agree. I think Andy's going to be a contestant for the best player in the world again. Yes. What ranked am I in ranked Conquest Joust? I have never played Joust, and Conquest, I am like silver or something. I don't play too much ranked. The NBA wants to sponsor esports teams or esports teams. Yeah. Who's winning the NBA Finals? Spurs in 6 or 7. Cavs look scary. Portugal, they started an esports related show. That's awesome, Necro Shade. I want to know more about that. Necro Shade, link me on Twitter, twitter.com/FDOTNY. Link me more about that. I have friends in Portugal, Maniac included. I want to hear more about this Portuguese esports show. And also, shout outs to you. I like Portuguese. I like Portugal. I really want to go. I only know how to say one thing, and it's puta caralho, and that's not a nice thing to say. So, what do you think about Rap being in the SPL? I don't really care. Item I'd like to see picked up more, Shifter Shield, but it's starting to get there. Water, what's, I don't know what you mean. Yeah, no, I know, Chewy. That's, I see you. I see you, though. Fuck Loki. I don't really care about Loki. Was it one of the spring? Yeah, one of the goals. I forgot about that. I don't know. Let me touch you, Chapo. Let me take my shoes off first. I'm looking mad good. Yeah, I actually gotta get out of here right quick. On a scale of 1 to hell, how terrified was it? Like 8 million. I'm very scared. Do I think the casters overuse certain phrases like crashing down? Yes, I do. Purple Rust. Fine F dot. Dude, I don't have any money. You think Gars will come back? No, I don't. Hi Chaos. How's it going? Shouts to Long Island. Yeah, it's left hand syndrome. If my name was an F dot, what it would be? Probably just Tom. Thoughts on enemy ADC? Panda Cat sucks. No, I'm really excited that you're in the SPL. I think that you've made I liked you on Legion, and I wanted to see you in the SPL. And it takes a team like Enemy to take a gamble on people like you and Marauder, and I'm happy that you actually finally got it. So, Nick Pie, I stream every weeknight, bitch. Last night I was doing some personal stuff with some personal friends. The weekend is my time to relax, but honestly, I probably should stream on the weekend even. Thoughts on Panda Cat? Thoughts on Panda Cat? Thoughts on Panda Cat? Thoughts on Panda Cat? Fine, Panda Cat sucks! Volpe, not my bad. You go to sleep mad early. Thoughts on Panda Cat? Thoughts on... You guys are the worst. Who do I think is better solo laners? Zelia, Dimmy? When hiring casters, do you think about how many viewers they'll bring? No. Thoughts on Panda Cat? Shut up! Thoughts on Marauder 46. Marauder knows exactly when those mid camps are spawning. I gotta go. It is. My watch is wrong. It is 12:05. What the fuck? Did I break my crown? No, we Gucci. It is 12:05. I got to get out of here. 1 p.m. twitch.tv/HighResTV. Go ahead and watch it there. You can meme your face off. If you don't want to deal with the memes, I will be hosting it here as well. Twitch.tv/FSwag. You guys can chat more in depth about the game if you will. I know there's a lot of people that like to hang out and do that sort of thing. So I'm going to make that step and we'll do that every single day. Thank you so much for viewing. I really appreciate it. Thanks to the people that threw down in the tips, and thanks to the new subs. Really, really helps me out, and I love every single one of you. I love my mom too, and you guys should as well. Call your mothers. Even if it's not Mother's Day in your country, call her anyway. She's the shit. And if she's not, you're better than her. But if she is, recognize it. Moms rule, you rule, shit, I rule. I'll see you in an hour for the SPL. Peace, and much love to you.